Today marks 1610th day of daily lessons, daily reflections, and today we want to really discuss and reflect about one statement. One statement. I think it's very relevant to every single person. I think that sometimes when we really look into our actions doesn't really show our true knowledge, our true understanding, our true intelligence. Yeah, we make a mistake. And the statement is that I will reflect today is most mistakes don't come from lack of intelligence. It comes from lack of presence. Such an important topic. Most of the mistakes coming not from lack of knowledge, but from lack of presence. And I was reflecting on that it's told true. It's told true. I'm going to share seven potential truths that I've wrote about it, and I think that is a great, really, mm, a place to reflect on that. So number one is you already know better. You just don't act in the moment. You already know better, but you just don't act in the moment. And it's interesting because in that moment, we could be aroused, anxious, nervous. And because of we have all those emotions coming in, it shuts down our prefrontal cortex and we're not able to think straight. And because we don't think straight, we execute from the default modes, and because of those default modes is not serving us, we're making mistakes. So again, so when we look into the action that we took, that most likely will be acted out on defaults, not of our actual knowledge. So the first thing that we always need to understand is that so if my default and our emotions are really removing my knowledge and my understanding, maybe it's the first thing what I could do is to really work on developing my emotional maturity, emotional regulation, so I could keep myself cool when emotions arise. I'm able to control them and transform them and direct them where it's supposed to go, rather really making mistakes based on the defaults that is actually way below our true knowledge and understanding. Number two, autopilot is your default and is dangerous. Oh yeah, I really started to speak about it. I really was thinking about it. Autopilot is by default is dangerous. It's interesting because autopilot could be built sometimes even not by you, by your parents, by surroundings, by friends, by environment, by significant other. So those that autopilot that sometimes okay, like how is supposed to act in certain way in certain places, and then you hear from other people how you're supposed to act, and how you believe them. You believe them because you thought they want the best for you, and they potentially wanted the best for you, but they didn't have the knowledge, they didn't have understanding, they didn't have the wisdom and intelligence. What is the best action for that moment? And because they didn't had the knowledge, now we trusted them, even though they didn't have understanding. And now our autopilot is acting in a way that is not serving you. And that's why it is very, very important to really catch ourselves and that being present. I say like this is how I used to always do. And that if I always do that, this is a pattern that I always perform, maybe I'm able to question it. And when you're able to be present and say like, okay, today I will not move based on default. Today I will move on desire. Today I will move with understanding why I do things a certain way. Number three, emotional spikes destroy presence. I already did. Everything is really so intertwined and connected. Emotional spikes destroy presence. So that means that sometimes you say, like, I really want to be present. I really want to be present in the moment. I want to be mindful. I want to take actions that are coming from understanding, not from default, not from emotions. And I think that's again where we need to really always catch ourselves. What emotion I am on, what state I am right now. And I think that the more we question that our state, what state am I right now? And if we catch ourselves that I feel that my emotions are taking control over me right now. So maybe stepping back sometimes is the most important thing, that stepping back, bringing yourself back to present moment, presence, mindfulness. At that moment, okay, let's go and do the right thing. Let's get and take action based on knowledge and not an emotion. Because sometimes emotion is skewing the reality and your wisdom. Number four, speed is often the enemy of quality. Now, when you are in a rush, and to be honest, I am one of those people who really love speed, love urgency. But when urgency turns to rushness, that doesn't lead anywhere. And I think that the best way always to come back from rushness to urgency is really presence. Presence, being able to really see the things around you, understand your current state, understand where you're at, and that presence moment allows to really remove all negative emotions. Because when you are in a rush state, that creates some kind of nervousness, anxiety, and that's not a great state to be in. But when we are present and when we're urgent, we're able to be slow, and that slow could be fast. And I think that's very, very important. Number five, you don't listen, you wait to respond. You don't listen to, you wait to respond. And again, this is when we really even think about, we know better. We know that we're supposed to listen. We know that we're supposed to really give their time and really reflect and think. But when we not present, again, this is presence. When you're not present, we are not listening. We're waiting to respond. I am guilty of that 100%. I have done it so many times, and interesting because sometimes you catch yourself after communication that you did it, and I think that is it's working to really catch yourself while you're doing it. I think that's getting better and better, and I think that awareness of that is very, very important. So mistake again coming again from not being able to be present because you know that you're supposed to listen, but you're not able because you're not present. Number six, avoidance is disguised as distraction. It's an interesting thing. This one is very, very unique because avoidance is disguised as distraction. So that it means that when you scroll TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, even watch TV shows, playing games, there are so many things that you potentially could call distractions. And are not always, I think, those are true distractions. They're avoidance. Avoidance being with yourself. Avoidance of being present with your mind and hearing what it's saying about you, about your life. Because if your life messages, your mind sends messages that is hurtful, uncomfortable, what you will want? You will want to avoid. You want to watch movies, you want to really play games, you want to really watch Netflix, like whatever you want to do, but you don't want to spend time with your mind presently to really hear those negative and uncomfortable emotions. And of course, if you avoid and use that distraction from your emotions, that will not lead anywhere. So we know better, but that we're not supposed to do that. But again, not being able to be present stops us from really doing that. And last one, number seven, is the presence is a skill, not a personality trait. And this is easy to understand. Presence is a thing that you're able to develop. It doesn't come overnight, but if you work on it a little by little and catch yourself when you're not present, because it's an interesting thing because when you start working on presence, that means that you will go all day on autopilot, and then you remember at some point that, oh wow, I'm still on default, I'm still on autopilot, and potentially will be that when you start doing and really looking to become more present, you will start to realize that maybe 80% of your day is on autopilot. But when you start to really be intentional about it and really being present in the moment, then you're able to really move from 80% to 79 to 78 to 77 to 75. And at some point, you realize that more of your day you were present. And as I said, when you reach that 50-50, and that's a great milestone to achieve, knowing that all your day was by design in the present moment. Because present improves everything. Improves your thinking, improves your communication, improves your relationships, improves your um, actions towards your vision. And I think that sometimes that's the one missing piece that really separates people successful from non-successful people, or as a missing piece for people to have everything in their life. It seems that they're supposed to be very successful, but they are not. And I think one of the key aspects is that being able to be present in the moment. Because as I said, the statement was that most mistakes are not from lack of intelligence, knowledge, wisdom, but of lack of presence. So I hope you reflect on that because, as I said, I think that every single person is using too much autopilot, and sometimes being able to really bring that presence is extremely important and useful. So I hope you just win and see you tomorrow.